Woof, woof. Bark, 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 off, 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 snarl, woof, woof, grr, rough, rough, off, bark, bark, woof, snarl, snarl, grr, woof, woof, off, grr, woof, woof, growl, a woo, off, grr, bark, grr, hiss. It's time to read some reviews. We did this the other day on stream. I thought it was actually extremely funny because, much like the forums, much like the subreddit, one of the best places to find some kind of wacky, slightly unhinged perspectives on the game are indeed the Steam reviews and the Metacritic reviews. This was pointed out to me the other day. I took a brief peek, and you know what? It was actually really funny. So now we have gathered the Steam reviews. We've picked out a selection of 50 Steam reviews to go over. Then we'll take a look at sort of the lunacy going on over on Metacritic. Maybe this is a full series. Maybe I'll keep doing this. Maybe we'll get more reviews. Maybe we'll see how the reviews evolved over time. Because a lot of these are about Secrets of the Obscure, but there's plenty about Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire, right, and the core game as well. We got a lot of content here, guys, and we're gonna milk it for all it's worth. So let's get into it. And a big shout out to Jernut, by the way, who actually hand selected. These are, you know, these are homegrown, hand-selected reviews because of Jernut, so enjoy that. Let's get into it. Here we go. So, here's the first one from Tarashi, 40 hours in. If you plan to buy the game's expansions, feel free to play and disregard this post. If you don't or can't buy any expansions, too much of this game is locked behind them to make going free to play on this game worth it. You know, actually, we're opening this up very mild. That is honestly a fairly interesting take. I do think that some people do get baited, actually, by Guild Wars 2 being free to play, because I'm not gonna lie, the core game really isn't the full experience compared to the expansions. I do like that it took 40 hours for this guy to come to this conclusion, so got a little bit out of the free-to-play experience at least, I guess. Not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, this is actually something that does happen, to be honest. I think this is not exactly wrong. Like this, yeah, fair enough. I do think I would not recommend playing Guild Wars 2 free to play. I say that as an ArenaNet partner. Use my referral link. But no, I wouldn't recommend it free to play. To be frank, you're definitely gonna be missing out. Let's continue. Malcolm Reynolds, spelled incorrectly. So Firefly fan, not a spelling fan. Game was not a bad one, but microtransaction hell. And when you start on Steam and you link to Prime, you have to join their main website and download the game there, as you won't get your Prime goodies to your Steam account. So go start over. Lol, yeah, that's sad. So you can't play on Steam. You must use their web launcher. DRM to get things makes me not even want to buy anything. Glad I haven't. I will be deleting the game on both sites. But their support was very helpful. But their support was very helpful in helping me figure this out. Why I wasn't seeing the items. They did a great job. Unlike Steam, they never do half as good. Even just get auto-generated response. Real people couldn't fathom it. Mine was blown. The lore here is crazy. So he's got 6.1 hours on record. Although to be fair, that's on Steam. But no, I think he started on Steam because yeah, he had to make a new account. So he played the game for 6 hours and uninstalled the game because he couldn't get like the Amazon Prime rewards on his Steam account. Okay. I'm not even sure if this is true. Can you get your Prime loot on your Steam account? If you log in through the Guild Wars 2 account, can you not redeem it there? Or do you have to redeem it in-game? Wait, I don't even understand. I don't even know how it works. Maybe you can't do this. Maybe there's something that ArenaNet need to look at, actually. I do like that he was praising the support. Guild Wars 2 support is pretty good, actually. He's got a point, actually. But I feel like you can redeem, right? So I think he quit the game for no reason. Because I think you can. You just log in with your Steam account, and then you can redeem it. I like that. Okay, that's big. But shout out to Guild Wars 2 support, I guess. Would recommend. Yep. Recommended. 522 hours on record. Great to play if you're unemployed and need a hobby. Edit. I am now employed, but this game is still dope. 10 out of 10. Nice. I like that. So look, it's good if you're unemployed and if you're unemployed. So you've got, it's high value there, right? Nobody reads this anyways, so I'm just going to say I'm bitchless. Oh, man. Well, look, there's a big ERP scene in the game, so you could be in business there, my friend. Yeah. I love non-women. I wish they dominated me. 10.5 hours on record. Well, I think you know what this guy's been spending his 10.5 hours on. You know, he's just lurking around Holbrack, the non-starting area. Look, this is just Diaxon's ult account, guys. People who know, that's an old meme at this point, but this is Diaxon's ult. Not recommended. Here we go. Although this game says it's free, just know that the game itself punishes free-to-play players with all sorts of restrictions to make you have to buy a DLC before you can do even anything. You don't even get to keep your start amount. It's a sample now. And if you don't believe me about restrictions, just look on support on the website. You will see. Yeah, this is kind of the same thing. Like, and I think this is actually a sign of the times. Like, when people see free-to-play, they actually, what they're expecting is something like Fortnite, right? So, free-to-play, Battle Pass, MTX. But, like, the game, you can basically play the game free, and it's the same as having the paid version. So I think this is actually, like, a sign of the times. Like, back in the day, having a free-to-play experience was more like how it is in Guild Wars 2, right? But these days, when people see free-to-play, they're kind of not expecting what the free-to-play is. Guild Wars 2 has a free trial, right? Like, that's what it has. It has a free trial that then goes on, a bit like RuneScape, stuff like that. It's not like a true free-to-play experience. That might be... This is the kind of review that actually could be interesting for ArenaNet. If there's maybe some way they could present it in a way that would prevent people from having this impression. I'm not gonna lie, it probably doesn't matter that much. Let's be honest. Are that many people really getting put off by this? Nah, I don't think so. But yeah, this is not unsurprising, to be honest, that some people leave reviews like this. Pog, really good. There it is. Keeping it short. Keeping it sweet. Guild. Do you think he was writing the review, but then accidentally deleted it, like hit Control A and then backspace or something, and just didn't know how to bring it back and just said, you know what? Guild. Good review. Guild! Not recommended. 10.2 hours. You're really going to charge me money for bank space? Whack. So this guy played 10.2 hours, and at that point his inventory and bank was full. Uninstalled the game. Honestly, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you only have one back tab, I definitely found this on the Zero to Hero. On the Zero to Hero, the inventory management early on, yeah, it was actual pain, right? It was so good. Like, getting the first couple of bag slots and bank tabs and some of the sales, man, it made the game so much better. That's the business model, right? They kind of make the game a little bit annoying, so you want to spend money and get more bank tabs and bag space. It's honestly fair enough. It is super annoying as a new player. It is super frustrating. To be fair, Swiper. 7 people found this review helpful. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they'd find this helpful, but that's how it is. Olaf. Wait, what is this even in reference to? 4 people found this helpful? Olaf. I mean, there was a character in Guild Wars 1, Olaf Olafsson, right? But are there any Olafssons left around in Guild Wars 2? Is it like some kind of obscure Norn reference, maybe? There you go. Big review. I like Flesh Gorm. I'm pretty sure they mean Flesh Golem here with this review. Their name is Worm as well. You can kind of see that there. Worm. 478 hours. And they're a minion monster. They're a Necro main, guys. They get to Gormandize now as well. So maybe sword. Yeah, there you go. I like Flesh Gorm. The story makes me sleep. So 81.7 hours on record, though. So I played through the whole story, but maybe it was because he kept falling asleep during it, couldn't get through it. Took a while to get through the story. Falling asleep, had to wake back up again. 25 people found this review helpful. Not recommended. Before I played Guild Wars 2, I had a small wee-wee. No friends, no girlfriend, and absolutely no will to live. None of these things have changed, but the game is pretty good. Well, you know what? You've got to respect the honesty, the confidence, the transparency. And, you know, hey, you know, maybe Guild Wars 2, not sure about the small wee-wee, but friends and girlfriend, look, it's a big e-dating scene, guys. That can happen, just saying. It's possible. Only 16 hours in. There's a lot more to go. Get into raids. There's a lot of that going around, guys. Not a lot of content releasing in the game. It means there's plenty of time for ERP. Spent $30 just to get disconnected over and over again. Recommended. 122.3 hours on record. So, just imagine the scenario. This is log into the game, get disconnected, and he repeated this process for 122 hours and was like, fuck yes, I love this. Recommended. Nice. What is this? Woof, woof. Bark, 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 off, 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 rr, snarl, woof, woof, grr, rough, rough, off, bark, bark, woof, snarl, snarl, grr, grr, woof, woof, off, rr, grr, woof, woof, growl, a woo, off, grr, bark, grr, hiss. Now, this is no good, because is Guild Wars 2 a furry game? Yes, but there's no dogs. Does this guy think char are dogs? This is not even a high-tier furry. This is a mistaken furry. This guy thinks char are dogs. Char are cats, obviously. And do cats bark? No. 4 people found this review helpful. 46 hours. Guild Wars 2, furry game. A lot of MMOs are furry-oriented, though, actually. WoW definitely is. A lot of furry stuff going on in WoW. Less so in Final Fantasy. That's more about weebs. You can be like a cat girl. Well, it's not really furry, but definitely WoW and Guild Wars 2, they do go for the furry stuff, and you can see that represented here. Shooby Dooby. Recommended. 139 hours. Game is so fun, except graphic. You know, this is actually a criticism. We saw this in Lazy Peon's approach, actually, which I always found really interesting. Like, I found Guild Wars 2's art style to have aged extremely well. I think it's quite a pretty game, actually. Overall, the weapon effects are pretty cool, spell effects and so on, right? Like, the environments are pretty cool. You got, like, the massive enemies and stuff. Like, this is really interesting. You do see this pop up sometimes. I think it is just a taste thing, right? Like, not everyone's into it. People like different things, like different art styles and so on. But yeah, it's interesting to see this one come up sometimes, especially seeing as I think out of a lot of games, it's one of those games that even though it's old, I think it still actually holds up pretty well because of the stylized choices. Pretty interesting stuff. But still 600 hours. So they've got over the graphics. They're still enjoying the game, I guess. PvP is why I'm here. 1,000 hours on record. Yeah, you and your other 2 friends, buddy. At the back of the room, am I right? Okay. So fracking epic. 37 hours. They're getting in there. They're enjoying those meta events. They've lost the ability to spell because of how much they're enjoying it. I think it's a great game, but yeah. What's the but? they just didn't elaborate. Yeah. But yeah. But yeah, what? I don't know. Diaxon's other alt account. Recommended. Big Norn Mommy Milker Awooga. I mean, can't argue with that. The game certainly does offer that. You know, that's... If you're into this sort of thing, Guild Wars 2 it's a game. Like, you know, that'll do it. Yeah. No. 0.3 hours on record. XD. Not recommended. Not recommended. 6.1 hours on record. Most boring MMO that I've played. Wow. Damn. What a brutal just condemnation of the game. Goodness me. Good game, but DLCs are way too expensive. You know, let's actually, I mean, 2.1 hours, by the way, which is, you know, it's a bit of a weird point to say that, but I think this actually is interesting because this is a problem that Guild Wars 2's had. I think they're trying to alleviate this a lot, especially with the way they're structuring content now in the future. But yeah, because the game has got so much content, it's been going for such a long time, it does look weird buying a new game to drop $100 on it, right? to buy the full package is a bit weird, to be honest. I think they will fix that because the stories are going to be separate, right? You don't have to buy like all the Living World saga stuff. You can just buy the latest expansion and it will kind of stand on its own 2 feet and it will function on its own, kind of like how Soto does, right? It's why Soto is doing pretty well with new players, I think, because you don't really have to play everything up to Soto. You can just jump into the latest expansion of Guild Wars 2. But yeah, I think this is one of the issues. I think ArenaNet are aware of this too. And that's why they're moving to this more seasonal model, so that you don't have this kind of slightly weird sensation as a new player, like having to buy all the DLC in one go. Don't touch PvP if you have a life, please. What's that even? What do they mean? So he's saying that you should only touch PvP if you have no life. So he only wants like degenerate grinders in PvP. You know, honestly, I respect it. Okay, do you really want that minion monster Necro in your ranked match who is just like there for the daily? Oh no, this guy doesn't. This guy doesn't want that. Not recommended. Removed daily login rewards. Added fucking battle pass. Not coming back again. 1.2k hours not recommended. Oh. Oh. This is super interesting. Like, almost everyone loves the Wizard's Vault because the rewards are god tier. But there's a small subset of people who I feel like didn't grasp the system. And are almost like expecting it. It's like fanfic, right? This is really interesting. Like Nike was talking about this. People have this fanfic idea in their mind that the Wizard's Vault exists to eventually be turned into a paid battle pass. Really interesting, actually. Really, 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 really interesting. Is it people looking for an excuse to quit? They're kind of addicted, but they were struggling to let go. So Soto was the excuse, and like they're trying to rationalize it to peel it away from them. I don't know. It's actually really interesting that people say this because this is one that it comes up a lot. Like you'll see this in a lot of negative reviews. Is that the battle pass, or like paid monetization? Like they're setting up for paid monetization. Kind of interesting. It does come up, actually, weirdly enough. And of course, it's an extreme minority, but it's interesting to see this kind of, rear its head sometimes. See that in the YouTube comments, too. I like the game and the storyline. The camera is horrible. The only reason I will not be continuing playing it is the camera. Having my camera not follow my character is an end game for me. What do they mean? What do they mean by this? What exactly? Man, I wish they'd posted a video, or something. Do they want action cam? Because I feel like for every way you want your camera, you can have it. If you want the camera to, like, follow you without having to move the mouse, just turn off free cam, right? And if you don't want that, turn on free cam. And if you want, like, the action cam, you turn on action cam. I feel like every way you'd want the camera, you could have it that way. You know? Very confusing review here. I don't really know what this means, to be perfectly honest with you. There's a camera setting for everyone. Confused Peepo, 8 hours, not recommended. Unfortunate. Not recommended. 68.3 hours on record. Guild Wars 2. Omega lol. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. No one has rated this review as helpful yet. Honestly, maybe I should. That's a pretty good review. Oh no! Fuck this kitchen minigame. 152 hours not recommended. This guy got to Path of Fire. He couldn't get the mastery point and quit the game. Oh no! No! Do you know what the worst part is? There's like multiple versions of that minigame as well. There's one in like Grothma. I think there's one in Soto as well, right? Like to get a mastery point as well. Oh, there's more to come, my friend. It's not over. Your ordeal is not over. But this is a quit moment, guys. And to be honest, I can just imagine like getting so mad at the game with the kitchen minigame that you just uninstall the game. And that's exactly what happened to this guy. You know, that's unfortunate. The parent company of Guild 8.4k hours. The parent company of Guild Wars 2 ArenaNet is a trash company. They treat all customers like they're idiot teenagers that are out to do them harm. Wait, what? You can be the most reasonable adult and the CEO of a large corporation and still get treated like an idiot teenager. The customer support there makes you feel like you're talking to a brick wall. Wait, what happened here? Oh, why? He needs to write more. What's he talking about here? So let's think about this. Something happened and he wasn't able to resolve it in support. And because of this, he's so mad at ArenaNet, he's just like, yo, not recommended. That is so interesting. What happened? Do you know what happened here? I feel like, I wonder if it was like some account sharing stuff, or it was some weird stuff, and ArenaNet were like, you're not getting your account back. Because this is pretty much the only way support won't be useful. Like, support in this game is actually really good. It's impressively good, no joke. They'll fix stuff very quickly, and they're pretty good at it. Outside of a few niche cases. The only time I feel like you can actually get screwed, and ArenaNet will just tell you to piss off, is if you did like botting or RMT. Like, they're absolutely no mercy when it comes to like sharing your account, or botting, or breaking the rules in some way. It's like absolutely no mercy. They'll just say, yeah, make another account, buddy. So I feel like something like that has happened here, but I want more details. I feel like if it wasn't something like that, he would have given more details and said like, oh, look how incompetent they were. But I feel like there's something a little bit sus going on here, to be honest. I don't know. Oh, that is a good call there, because yeah, this guy's got 8. Oh, that's a good catch there by the chat, by the way. 8.4K hours in like a year. So this guy was actually going like lunatic mode. Something very sussy is going on there, actually. So yeah, this guy was like online nearly 24 hours a day. I wonder what was going on there. Ooh. Anyway, let's continue. Doo-doo controls. 0.4 hours on record. Logged into the game, started like WASDing around. Fuck this, I'm out. Buff Mirage. Honestly, good reason to not recommend. Mirage with only 1 dodge, that's a reason to uninstall right there. 3-8 hours, not recommended. This game makes me feel fat as hell. 4.5 hours? Wait, what? Or maybe he's eating all the food in game, like running around eating all the feasts, all that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, you know, I don't know exactly what's going on there. You know, he just feels fat while playing the game. It is what it is. Yeah, just eating all like the cake and stuff. Okay. Good game in 2010. Wait. 1.6 hours on record. Good game in 2010. Bad trash game in 2020. What the fuck is this trash? Question mark. In 2022. I dislike the combat in this game. 3.1 hours on record. Boom. There it is. You know, I think that, especially as a free-to-play player, I think this actually can be an issue, because when you first play Guild Wars 2, you, like, one-shot everything, and all of your abilities, you get, like, 1 skill. You know, your abilities unlock pretty slow, and everything in the open world is so trivial that I can actually understand the game feeling really bad in, like, your first couple of hours, actually, because you literally one-shot everything, right? And you don't really do a lot. It can feel very floaty and very uninteractive. I think more stuff like what they did with the fire elemental and the worm and stuff would actually be really good for the game, just to kind of alleviate that a little bit. You don't get the full experience early on until you get elite specs, really. Especially because the core game stuff is like very, yeah, you know? For sure. Kind of fun, but I could be cranking 900s in Skate or Tony Hawk. Well, look, ArenaNet. Look, bring back adventures. We clearly need a skateboarding minigame, all right? Like, we clearly need this so that this player can be satisfied, okay? So we can have some skateboarding simulator in Guild Wars 2. Well, I mean, honestly, maybe this guy would like the roller beetle, right? The roller beetle could be fun, you know? You've got that going for you. Trash. Honestly, maybe I'm just immature. Maybe I'm just a child, but these are some of my favorite reviews to read. It's just, there's no elaboration. 7.1 hours, not recommended, trash. Just boom. Just drop it and just move on. That's it. Just slam it. 3 people found this review helpful. I fucking love it. It's so funny. Christmas Day as well. Gave ArenaNet a Christmas present on Steam. I love it. Not recommended. 9.5 hours on record. It's a fun game, but avoid PvP. The devs are completely fucked back end and don't know how to balance their game. I think they actually said, I think they said something else there, looking at the number of letters there. I think they said something quite mean. And don't know how to balance their game, even if their lives dependent on it. And it's going to get worse with the coming expansion. Well, I feel like it actually kind of got a little bit better with the coming expansion in retrospect, actually. Or overall, it's been moving in the right direction. But yeah, there have been some frustrating moments in PvP, that's for sure. Especially if you're a free-to-play player. I think a lot of stuff going on here is free to play will probably skew the Steam reviews a lot. Because if you play PvP as free to play, that is going to be rough compared to people with elite specs. You are going to have a pretty bad time. They're trying to fix that though, right? With buffs to core necro and core guards good. Stuff like that. So there is that, which is kind of interesting to see how that kind of pans out. And bear in mind, they're actually going to heavily lean in to free-to-play more and more and more, or core specs. Because think about it, every expansion they release won't have elite specs, right? So they actually have to think about core balance a lot more these days, because not everyone's going to have elite specs. Only people who go back and basically buy the old content will have elite specs now from now on. That's why a lot of the Soto open world stuff is incredibly easy, and a lot of the strike missions are incredibly easy, because they actually kind of have to think about people having core specs and not necessarily having elite specializations, especially as time marches onwards. Which is kind of interesting there, actually. But yeah, there you go. That's some thoughts on that one. But yeah, also, 9.5 hours, knows the game better than the devs. Based. Good game. Not recommended. Okay. Fucking trash. 144 hours. It took him that long. You know what's really interesting? Look, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you guys the truth here. Okay, let me tell you the truth. This guy was playing for like 100, 120 hours, and then something happened. Okay? Something happened to this guy that made him uninstall the game and write this review. Was it... Oh, I mean, what could it have been? It could be... I don't know. Like... He fought some kind of horrible build in PvP, got roamed in World versus World... got kicked from a group or something, like, you know, or like died to a frog or a mushroom, you know, like, I don't even know, like, it could have been anything, right? Like, something bad. Oh, yeah, jumping puzzle could have happened, got really mad at a jumping puzzle, and just, like, couldn't do it, kept falling off, or something like that. I don't know, like, something happened, okay, in the game. The kitchen minigame, it's the kitchen minigame guy, once again. I'm waiting more 2 hours for show legendary corrupted facet, but didn't show. Well, yeah, this guy doesn't know how the bounty system works. I can just imagine this guy. This guy is here. He's waiting at the legendary facet. Like, where is it? Why isn't it spawning? What the? I need this for my collection. What's going on? And just doesn't go to activate it at the bounty board. Oh, no. Well, you know, unlucky. Not recommended. I spy a mushroom waiting to get clobbered. I know. I'll jump into combat and have it with my swords. Jump, and I'm dead. This guy actually quit the game because of a mushroom. This is the equivalent of the level 7 crab story from Vanilla WoW. This guy tried to fight a mushroom in HOT, and I just love this. Just imagine that. He went for a mushroom, died to it, and uninstalled on the spot. That's what I'm talking about. Another reason why Heart of Thorns is by far the best Guild Wars 2 expansion. Not even close to the, you know, it's not even close. Fungus wins again. Wait till this guy saw Fungus Among Us. Seriously. Yeah, then that's where things would really get crazy. Dead to a mushroom, dead to fungus. That's the last one. That's it. We did all of the Steam reviews. And now, we're not done. Oh, I didn't even go full screen. I could have gone for the full immersive experience, but I didn't. Oh, man. I'm not done yet. I'm not done. We got a couple more reviews. We got a couple more of these. I've got another treat for you guys. Because someone pointed out to me that there are reviews for Secrets of the Obscure on Metacritic. And oh yes, some of these are really, really good. And actually, we're going to be taking the advice of someone. One of these reviews says, ignore all of the 10s and the 0s. And you know what? They're half right. In general, the positive reviews are just people who want to help the game. It's actually quite sweet. They're like, oh man, let's make the game, let's hype up our favorite game. Actually quite sweet. It's very good-hearted. I like that. But normally, they're just like, oh man, the game is so good. Feels good, man. The mixed reviews, that is where you find people who are actually sane. They're giving actual opinions and they're genuinely reviewing the game, but they're sane, therefore they're boring. Okay? I don't want to read someone who's not a complete lunatic. And that is why, oh yes, we're clicking on the negative reviews, okay? This is where you're going to find the bubbling of insanity, the festering madness in the depths. Wait, what the hell is this? It references me. Game is moving in a weird direction. All changes are made for casuals only. No good PvE endgame content. I can clear strikes with my elbow. Have video proof. And then when I finally stopped... Yeah, and then when I finally started playing the game, watched some MightyTeapot, face of Guild Wars 2 community, this guy cuts up yapping about how bad the game is. Also, his chatters are all yappers. Quit the game already. Wait, what? Wait, this review was today. Like, what? What? From anti-yapper? Wait, when did this review... 4 out of 10. We're off to a good start, guys. We're off to a very good start. True. Guild Wars 2 is trash. I should write a review on this site. That's what I should do. Very true, actually. Short expansion. And actually, I have read these before, so spoiler alert. Look at the 3 hours. This makes me a little bit suspicious about some of these reviews. Not much to do after 2 weeks. Story took under 3 hours to do. The music from earlier expansions are used. Nail in the coffin for me. Now, I think that actually might be true in some of the areas, but that's because they kind of brought back all the different things. But there's also loads of new original music as well. Very interesting critique. That was the deal breaker. The music coming back, even though the music is good. That's kind of interesting. And yes, I'm on my way, Angels. Yes. Give me 5. Wasted my money. Not one thing feels good, interesting, or polished. Guild Wars 2 feels like a mobile game with the shop and lacking combat. Oh, man. I feel like the combat doesn't click with some people, right? I think I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. But like the 0 out of 10. Holy shit. Just you would go like, oh, man, I'm not really into the combat. Like 5 out of 10. But you just go straight for the 0. Oh, my God. Interesting. Soto is bland, short, and boring. But let's go into details. First, discuss what I liked about the expansion. Good. Now that we talked about all of that, let's talk about the negatives. The expansion feels like a trial. That how little ArenaNet has to put out for the same amount of money. It's $5 less, to be fair, so players are still buying the expansion. The story was short, and the storytelling, mediocre. In the past where we got 4 to 5 zones plus Living World for our expansion play, well, to be fair, the Living World is technically, you did buy that if you didn't log in. We just got 2 zones, a third on the horizon this time around. The new masters feel pointless and unintuitive. The new metas and rift hunting are not rewarding at all, so I guess they die in a week or so. You know what's really interesting about that? They kind of are very rewarding, but there is a layer of complexity, right? You have to know how to make money out of the essences, so there's something to be, learned there. The new daily system could be okay, but being forced to do a set of objectives rather than able to pick ruins, that one as well for me. But hey, at least the rewards are balanced. 5 minutes work on each of my alts, I was able to funnel more than 75 gold from each of them to my main account. Nice. The zones are design-wise. One is a reuse of old assets. The other, bright, as if you threw a flashbang through the monitor. It's just a pile of trash as well. The new strikes are so boring, I almost fell asleep doing them. So to sum it up, ArenaNet made every possible mistake and made the expansion the worst possible, possible experience. My advice, wait if it goes on sale for like $10. That's really already more than the expansion is worth. 0 out of 10. Now, I actually kind of want to engage with this a little bit, because there are some points here. I do think some people feel demotivated by how strong the Wizard's Vault is, because it's like, why would I, like, as soon as you're done with the vault, you're getting rewarded way less for your time. And I think that actually could put some people off. And yeah, the fact that the dailies are a bit inflexible and you can't like have at least one from each game mode, I think that is a weakness of the system that could actually be legitimately improved 100%. On terms of like the zone stuff, I actually kind of like the way the zones look, particularly Amethyst actually. I like it. It's weird. It's kind of weird and imposing, and the architecture is a bit unsettling, but honestly, that's fair enough, 100%. And you know, this critique here is really interesting, because I can understand why you might feel this way, because you're not really going to see the payoff for the new model of Guild Wars 2 until we actually get to the next expansion. Because, and the reason why I say that is because what Soto is doing is removing the content drought. People forget that every single expansion for Guild Wars 2, there's been a big old drought between expansions. You get like, you had expansion, drought, living world, drought, expansion. So the expansions are going to be smaller, but they're basically removing the gaps. They're removing the droughts in between like the big content drops. So I can understand being like really frustrated with this, because you're almost like internally expecting there to be like a big drought coming up, but that's not going to happen. It's going to be expansion, patch 3 months, patch 3 months, patch 3 months, then the next expansion. Whereas normally it would be expansion, patch, 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 and then year gap, and then another expansion. Yeah. So this is the change in model, but I can actually see that there are going to be some people who are like, what the hell is this? I was expecting EOD, I was expecting HOT. The being put off with that and being a little unsettled. So I think there's some actually, I think even though this is, you know, obviously a, you know, kind of angry review, there's actually some interesting things that you can get out of this. You know, if you engage and kind of like, oh, what are they actually mad about? Which I think can be useful for ArenaNet, right? And useful for us as the community to kind of think about as a bit of a thought experiment, I guess. I would have rated this higher, but the developers, it's 0. But the developers, they already bugged and annoying to use Skyscale mount, and not only made it necessary to complete the expansion, but also made it somehow even buggier. Update. After finally getting to episode 6, the expansion loses 2 points just on the merit of this one mission being so horrifically terrible. This single-handedly ruins every other... Oh, dude, this review is so good. Do you know what this is? Okay? Do you know what this is, guys? I'll tell you. He got to the mission where you have to find the seals, and unironically just uninstalled the game. Like when that happened, he couldn't do like the hide and seek thing where you have to find the seals. That's episode 6, by the way. We actually checked. And he couldn't find them and basically rage quit. Like, man, unlucky. You hate to see it. Look, you got to be careful with missions like that, right? It actually breaks people. It's the nail in the coffin for its future. After more than a decade, this game offers the button smashing, not enough skill complexity, a bad UI, and a predatory monetized game model as well. Oh my god. This game died after release, never increased the most important stat. Fun! People who can compare to other modes will understand. In this game, the community is very toxic and prejudicing biased. It is sad, but at least the game and its remaining community of people that complain about taxes for their whole life is on the same level. Guild Wars 2 identifies as a shop with an in-shop game and fashion outlets. Dude, oh my god, I love these reviews. They're so good. Oh, man. It's comparable to the lately added WoW token. Normal Quantium. You know, I think the psychology here is really interesting. Like, I think that this is what happens. You know, they've essentially, like, grown away from the game, but they're very bitter about it. They want to quit, but they kind of are addicted, right? They've still got the copium, but they're trying to break away from the copium. All that kind of stuff. It's sad, but hopefully they found peace and have quit the game, I guess. 0 out of 10. I think Soto was that. People use expansions to quit. That's true, actually. That's actually true in all MMOs. People go, oh, the game is different and it's bad, and that means I'm quitting. And I'm not quitting because, you know, like, I'm just not into the game anymore. I'm quitting because, you know, it's different, I don't like it, and it's bad, and it used to be better, right? And that can be true sometimes. Like, games do get better and they get worse. And they change over time, so your taste may change. But I feel like this level of anger and bitterness it's honestly... I mean, look, you can tell when he was writing his username for this, like... Blah, 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 blah. But anyway, I think that's enough reviews. We've milked this enough, at least for now. Maybe we'll do this with some other areas of the game. Maybe I'll find some other review sites. Let me know what you think I should do in the comments section, guys. But that is going to do it for now. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me what your favorite review was. I think they were all pretty spicy. There was some all pretty high content stuff there. But yeah, that's good. That's big. Take it easy, my friends, and I'll see you next time.